Light afflictions became much lighter. What I was dealing with became much easier to deal with. And I began to understand once again, as I hope you will, that we are not alone in our struggles. I want to share with you today some gleanings from the life of Paul, some pieces and parts to help you understand that, like him, whatever God has done for him, he can do the same thing for you. Do I have a witness right there? You must first understand that when Paul began to minister, he ministered without much support from any particular group. He was alienated, he was ostracized, and to some degree, even from the disciples who he knew and were his friends, he was a misfit because he was not mentored from the same bodies of mentorship as they were. And at that time, they were a little bit skeptical of Paul and how Paul responded and who he was. And it's kind of funny because whether subconsciously or consciously, if you're not in the club, people will treat you a little different sometimes. He had to deal with being ostracized from the group that he was once embraced by, because his conversion had created a crisis. Lord, his conversion created a crisis. And many times once you're converted and Christ begins to manifest himself in your life, he begins to change you. It creates a crisis amongst the groups that you used to be with. Because when there's a conversion, they don't really embrace you like they used to. Somebody's gonna help me here. Let me put it another way. Following Christ can get you in trouble. When you start changing for the better, it will put you on the outskirts. When you start following your destiny, it will make you the misfit. And all of a sudden, when you start making moves and doing things different with your life, because you're not one of them, they will reject you. So you see, the Apostle Paul becomes a misfit. And this is appropriate because when you are chosen by God, it'll make you a misfit. One of the ways you can really know you've been chosen is when you've been rejected by men. It almost seems like God makes it so, and he'll harden Pharaoh's heart and make them reject you, so it'll push you out of your comfort zone and it'll push you into your promised land. It doesn't mean Pharaoh is bad. It doesn't mean you are bad, but sometimes God will orchestrate your steps to force you into your destiny. So consequently, the Apostle Paul is rejected by the Jews and he runs into so much trouble as a result. Listen here, you have not been persecuted until you've been persecuted by your own people. Oh Lord, because your